The AI I want? Well, insurance is all about trust and speed. I need it to guide this analyst to customize flood coverage for this house so that this team can inform this couple that their payment will arrive faster than this guy.
Hey.
So whether I'm processing claims due to this fine gentleman or suggesting premiums for this young lady, AI can help change everything at this company. Expect more from AI, IBM Watson.
Hello friends, I'm Seema Kumar and I'm very delighted to be here today in the Data and AI Virtual Summit. By now you would have listened to several of our speakers talking to you about the real benefits of adopting a data and AI platform. AI over the last decade or so is a technology that has gained significant importance across industries. It is seen as a technology that is a primary lever for digital transformation. You take any industry, be it healthcare, be it finance, be it retail, there is a lot of mainstream application of AI happening to not only enhance customer experience, but also to drive better efficiencies. One of the promises of AI is really to help companies unlock the insight of the data information that they have. And at the same time, there are a lot of concerns and a lot of challenges in terms of how do you ensure you protect the existing way in which the systems are functioning and thereby increase the efficiency. So let's look at some of the areas where an organization needs to focus on across key aspects to ensure your AI projects are successful. If you look at the data out there, right, data science as a profession is one of the coolest professions or is one of the most sought after professions or jobs out there. There is a significant gap in skills in the market, and machine learning, data modeling, model development, all of these are seen as very high intense, highly skilled capabilities which is hard to get. Organizations across the board have been sold on the various benefits of data science. They look at the various forms of data coming from multiple sources, both structured data, unstructured data, and you really look at AI and machine learning as an ability to unlock the insight and unlock the value from that data. There's a lot of money that is put in today to hire data science experts, machine learning experts, to put dedicated teams who are into really understanding this data and building out the models. A lot of experimentation is being done out there, and the nature of AI is such that a lot of the experimentation stays within a lab-based environment and sometimes doesn't really come out in the mainstream to really make real business sense or business benefit. And hence, without some basic guardrails and some basic framework, you see more and more AI projects ending up in what you call a scam or what you would call a failed project. So over time, the funding dries up, the talent, you find it difficult to keep the talent. You end up tightening the purse strings, and then what started off as a promising experiment in the lab refuses to convert to something where the business can really see benefit from. So when you look at that, you really need to figure out a way to break that pattern, right? And as a business, how do you ensure that you have the basic ingredients to make your AI project successful? For us at IBM, based on the various projects we've done at industries and organizations worldwide, we look at primarily 4 key ingredients. Number one, it is the talent, right? It is the skills and the talent, finding and retaining the right set of talent, the right set of teams that will help you make this successful. Secondly, and most importantly, is to have a very clear and firm enterprise level strategy for your data science, and your AI requirements. Thirdly, it's about operationalizing your data, which is where we'll get into more detail in this session as to how do you make it real and how do you really operationalize your data science experiments. And finally, it is also about, and very importantly, it's about overcoming the cultural changes and overcoming the cultural shock that comes along with, adopting a new practice or adopting a new way of working within your organization. When you look at the talent aspect, and I spoke about data science being one of the coolest jobs out there, and you have a lot of demand for qualified data scientists across the board, across industries. But data science as a terminology is a very broad terminology, and many a times multiple different roles are bucketed under the broad data science kind of a role. Again, based on the projects and based on our own experience building and delivering AI-based projects, we've identified a few key roles and a few critical roles that are required for any data science and AI project. You have the data engineers, and they form a very important piece of collecting and organizing your data, cataloging the data, cleansing the data. They're the ones who understand, they're the SMEs who understand the data much more deeper, and they form a very critical part of the overall life cycle. You have your machine learning engineers and your optimization engineers. Both of them, broadly, you would bucket them under a data scientist role and responsibility, but again with certain differences, right? In terms of not only building the models and training the models, but also operationalizing them, governing them, and ensuring them that they're relevant to the business. And finally, you have data journalists who perform the very important piece of communicating and ensuring that all these decisions are percolated across the organization in the right way. It's difficult to not only keep this talent or find this talent, but as well as to keep this talent. They typically like to be in a collaborative environment and really like what they do, and hence it's important to keep them engaged and keep them motivated with the kind of work that they're really skilled at doing. The other aspect is really when you look at the cultural aspect of it, right? So you have a certain mechanism of doing things today, a certain mechanism of making decisions today. The business users rely on their, their experience, their intuition, and as well as facts to make decisions on a day-to-day basis. Enter an AI-based system who's going to help you and augment these business users' intelligence and guide them and enable them to make decisions faster and in a more automated fashion. Culturally and from a process standpoint, this can bring in a few aberrations where there could be disagreements or there could be a lack of understanding how to work with an AI-based system, and that is where the overcoming that cultural shock, right, or overcoming the cultural change is a very critical step to really make your AI project successful. You can have the best written models, the best written engineers out there, but if the business users are not aligned, are not hand in hand in helping you train and teach and enhance the system, it's going to be an uphill battle. Many a times AI projects are seen as the flip of a switch, you're going to have, you're going to go from A to Z. That really doesn't happen, right? It is an ongoing journey. An AI system gets better and better the more it's used, the more it is trained. And a lot of that expertise comes from your existing expertise from your business users. And that's why we call it augmented intelligence, where we are really augmenting the intelligence of the system with human expertise. The third aspect, and a very important aspect, is the strategy. You may have the best data and AI strategy out there. You may have the best data science team and the IT team out there delivering on your machine learning and AI models. But if that does not align to your business strategy, you really have a problem, right? So it's very important to understand what problems is your AI based solution really solving, right? What are the articulated business benefits that is solving? And most important step is to, move it from being an experiment in the lab and making it real. You really need the right stakeholders aligned, and you really need to set up their expectations. Hence, an enterprise strategy for data and AI is required, where you have the buy-in from the business users as well as your data and AI teams who are delivering on the promise. And finally, a very important word here is operationalize. And why we call it operationalize is it's again, right, about having the end-to-end system and the framework in place where you can make your data and AI projects real, and it really delivers to the strategy that you have built in. As I mentioned, any AI project is a continuous process, right? So truly integrating your models into the business processes and having that continuous feedback loop where system keeps learning is very, very important. And that is where in the operationalize phase, you really look at your systems working in tandem in an end-to-end fashion where you're continuously learning and continuously improving the system based on the outputs and the outcomes that you see. We look at it from an operationalizing AI perspective. There are, again, 4 critical steps. As you can see in the chart over here, it's about organize, build, deploy, and manage, right? Each of these blocks are significant steps in terms of operationalizing your AI. Let's look at the first block, which is organize. This is where 80% of the time is typically spent in today's day and age, right? And what is that? That's about collecting the data, cataloging the data, organizing the data so that it can really be consumed in the way that we want it to be consumed by machine learning models and AI models and so on and so forth. This is not something a qualified, a well-skilled data scientist wants to spend a lot of their time doing. The lack of a proper platform and the proper tools, this is what you end up doing, right? You end up spending a lot of time cleansing your data, and we need to avoid that situation. Where data scientists and data engineers really would like to spend their time is in the middle 2 blocks out there is a build and deploy, right? Where they're actually building the machine learning models, they're training the machine learning models, and they're putting them into action. We're putting them they're testing them, and they're really putting them into action. This is where the interesting work is, and this is where we should ideally be spending our skills and our time in actually building and deploying our models. And finally, it's the manage phase where you're not only putting that into production, but you're managing it on an ongoing basis, improving them, detecting model degradation, and continuously improving them. The business benefits are seen in the last 2 phases, right? Where you actually deploy and manage, that's where you see the business benefits, and hence it's important to shift, right? Shift the amount of time and investment to these buckets rather than spending a lot of time in the organized phase, and use automation, use tools and platforms to help you with the organized bit. So if you look at that, right, any data and AI platform must have a few basic building blocks. You should have an automation and a lifecycle management capability where you're really applying, and that's the interesting piece, right? You're applying AI for AI in an end-to-end fashion. So when we look at the way we've designed our data and AI platforms, that's what we have done, right? While the end outcome is to help you with a platform that will enable your AI, we've enabled the platform itself using a lot of AI inbuilt and AI infused into it. You need a governance model. Now, data governance and analytics governance, both of these are very, very important, where you govern in a real multi-cloud architecture way, right? Today, the reality is not everybody is stuck to any one platform or any one cloud, be it a public cloud or a private or a hybrid cloud. You want choice, right? You really don't want to move your data around to multiple places, and at the same time, you should have the kind of transparency and the governance model to govern in that multi-cloud architecture. And thirdly, it's about optimization as a whole, where you're using intelligently the use of data and algorithms for your applications and for your ecosystem. So the Watson Data and AI platform has an end-to-end lifecycle management suite. And you can see over here, there are primarily 4 offerings that we offer in this space: the Watson Knowledge Catalog, the Watson Studio, the Watson Machine Learning offering, and the Watson OpenScale. Watson Knowledge Catalog, as the name suggests, is primarily used for cataloging and curating your data. It falls in the prepare and organize phase of the journey. Studio is used for the build phase. Watson machine learning is for the deploy and run phase, and finally the Watson open scale is for the manage and operate phase. All of these four put together end to end, right, deliver on your automated AI lifecycle. And on top of that, right, we've actually added an auto AI capability where you can actually run auto AI experiments. So let's look at the Watson Knowledge Catalog to begin with. As the name suggests, it's a catalog. It helps you, organize and curate your data sets wherever they are. Okay, again, I go back to the multi-cloud aspect. We really do not look at you focusing on moving your data around. Keep the data where you are, wherever it is, and use effective tools to discover the data, cleanse the data, prepare your data, and basically make it in a quality that is ready for consumption from a machine learning standpoint. It's integrated into a data governance platform for your data governance teams or for your data stewards to define business glossary, to define policies, to define rules, to govern and process that data. So what are the key benefits of doing this, right? Number one, augmented data management, where you automate the collection and the curation and understanding of your data sets. You're able to detect bias, remove biases, detect business entities, and improve the quality of your data. You use it for data preparation and better findability powered by AI. You can also activate policies for data governance, right, in terms of which data sets are protected. Do you need to do any masking of the data if required in terms of privacy? And finally, in terms of the overall governance support, right, where you really know who has access to what kind of data, and you really are supporting the overall adoption of your AI by having an end-to-end governance model. Moving on from the initial organized part of it, we really look at how do you implement it, right? How do you build and deploy your AI-based models? And that's where Watson Studio comes in as a very effective tool that helps you address some of these challenges. Number one, of course, it automates the overall AI lifecycle management, and it really future-proofs from a investment standpoint, where your data science engineers and your business teams are able to use a tool which is self-service, helps you create your machine learning models and deploy those models in a very integrated fashion. One of the aspects we've also introduced is auto AI, right, where we introduced automation into AI. So irrespective of, even if you do not have at all times, right, the kind of skill sets that you may want to have, the tool comes with some pre-baked automation. And why is automation? Why care about automation when you're talking about AI? It's primarily to empower your data scientists or your citizen data scientists, as we call it, and basically speed your AI lifecycle management. It helps you detect the right kind of algorithms and create the initial models for you to take it forward. So let's look at a small demo of how auto AI comes into play. Okay. So we recently won an award in this area, where for our auto AI capabilities, we were one of the top AI innovations in the industry, where auto AI is seen as a key feature of our Watson Studio portfolio. So here I'm going to take an example of a credit risk model that one of our teams has built for a German bank, right, where they had all the data in a CSV Excel file. It's all the credit rating kind of information. And we upload this data and we select risk, okay? And as you can see, auto AI automatically detects this as a binary classification, and the measure of accuracy is an area under the ROC AUC curve. So that's automatically detected. Now, when I press on this button, you have auto AI that is already running as an experiment in your Watson Studio workspace. It does the feature engineering and the hyperparameter optimization automatically, and it's now giving you a leaderboard of top models out here. And you can see that this is organized based on accuracy, and you can go deep into any model out there. For example, the first one shows you an accuracy of 846, I think, over here. So now that the model is ready, I can easily export to my notebook for further optimization, or in some scenarios, deploy it with a single click of a button. So that's the power of automation in your AI, where you're pre-selecting algorithms, you're doing the classification using the help of the tool, and not really spending a lot of cycles in understanding that piece. So machine learning and optimization go very much better together. So we look at it from two aspects, right? From predictive analytics and a prescriptive analytics perspective. Predictive analytics is a scenario where it's a supervised learning, right? Or you know the answer, and you're training the machine, training the system of how to find the answer. And on the other hand, prescriptive analytics is where you don't know the answer, and you're probably providing the machine with the logic and the data so that it can go ahead and understand what is good and what is bad, or what is right and what is wrong. So both of these go hand in hand, and that is where Watson machine learning as a offering comes, where you can really not only deploy your models and really put this into action. And when we look at the final phase of that life cycle, right, we spoke about organize, build, deploy, and now we speak about manage, right? And manage is all about ensuring that you have an ongoing, ongoing mechanism to manage your AI. You need to have a mechanism where you have the kind of transparency and monitoring for compliance. So the decision making that your AI is putting into place needs to be within a certain framework. How do you ensure that there is no bias in your system? How do you remove biases? How do you detect bias? And that is where Watson OpenScale comes in and gives you the option to have that transparency and remove that bias. It helps you audit decisions, it helps you detect the bias, it helps you track the impact, and also helps you see the behavior of the models as they go through. It helps you teach the AI system and helps you teach them as and when it grows. So think of it as an intern that's learning, right? You need to continuously teach the system, and you see it grow and you see it evolve into an experienced system as you go through. So you could actually mix and match Watson Studio and machine learning across hybrid multi-cloud environments. As I already said, this could be on a public cloud, it could be on a private cloud, could be on a hybrid cloud setup. You have the choice of choosing the environment and the infrastructure. It's supported across the major public cloud platforms, including the IBM public cloud, as well as your own in-house on-premise systems and infrastructure. And the good news is, right, we've recently announced an integrated offering called the IBM Cloud Pak for Data, where the Watson Studio comes embedded as part of this, and you really have an end-to-end data and AI platform that gives you all the relevant capabilities, the tools, and the mechanisms to really make your data and AI lifecycle real. So it's based on a cloud-native architecture, so it supports multiple cloud environments. It is based on containerized workloads and microservices, again, supporting the multi-cloud architecture. We strongly support a series of open source programming languages. So if you, for example, if you were to look at the Watson Studio tool set, you could use, your Python or R based, technologies infused into the same tools, and we're not really forcing you to learn a new and proprietary technology. The Cloud Pak for Data is also based and bundles the Red Hat OpenShift container platform, where all your containerized workloads will run on this integrated container platform. It is in line with our strategy across all our Cloud Paks, where we are giving you an end-to-end, again, a data and AI platform that can run anywhere across any infrastructure. And if you look at how the industry and how the analysts have received it, right, there are multiple validations and multiple proof points where you will see the IBM set of offerings being ranked by analysts, by external clients, and vouched by external clients as being a very simple, easy to use, and very relevant AI platform to adopt. For example, Forrester ranks IBM as a leader in our PAML, Predictive Analytics and Machine Learning capability, where you see Watson Studio figured out there. And that in turn validates the not just the market leadership, but the technology leadership that we have in this space. We've implemented these capabilities across various industries, as you can see, across geographies, across multiple industries, be it in the area of electronics, be it in the area of airlines. The ROI benefits are very, very tangible. And sometimes, as I said in the beginning, right, an AI project takes time to, teach, learn, and evolve. The ROI is recognized over time. But at the same time, right, you see increased efficiency brought into the system and thereby driving cost efficiencies, not just from a process standpoint, but from an overall an ROI standpoint as well. We also have an interesting use case or interesting case study here in India, where one of our customers, iCure, right, which is in the area of healthcare, which is they look at providing and bringing healthcare to the masses in some of the interior and remote parts of northern India. And one of the challenges where in a country as vast as India we have is the ratio of experienced healthcare personnel to the ratio of patients, right? So if you look at the number of cardiologists, you have one cardiologist for every 6,000 patients in a given space. So this company, iCure, they worked with the IBM data science elite team, which is again a team of highly experienced data science professionals worldwide, where they use the intersection of data, AI models, and wearable technologies to fill that gap, right, of filling the gap of critical care needed at the time when it is needed, and predicting incidents and reacting, rather than reacting to it, proactively offering care and proactively offering assistance to the patient. So this was implemented by iCure. It's still ongoing, and they're very, very happy with the kind of efficiency that it has given and the kind of scale it has given them for the problems that they are solving in the healthcare space. So in summary, I would say if you are evaluating an AI project or in the journey of adopting AI, in the journey of building your own models, creating a data science team, so on and so forth, would strongly recommend evaluating and trying out some of these tool sets. You could actually get some free credits on our platform. We have an end-to-end learning platform called cognitiveclass.ai. You sign up today, you get some free credits on the platform. You can actually get access to the tools and use it for your initial pilots and POCs as well as your learning. Okay, so there are trial versions for Watson Studio, Knowledge Catalog, OpenScale. You have all the links out here. And if you are not very comfortable in doing it on a public cloud version, please contact our teams and we'll be happy to do an on-prem kind of a demo and a setup working with your teams out there. And we also have the data science elite team that works on some of these hard to solve problems around machine learning and data science, and we'll be happy to understand your business problems and convert them in a way where the data and AI project makes sense. So in summary, I'd like to close by requesting you to take a hard look at the way you have organized your current AI projects, ensure you have a strategy in place, ensure you have the right platform in place to operationalize your AI, and the right expertise coming from the right places to help you through your journey. And then you can ensure that you end up in a much more successful AI project and avoid getting into a scam, right? Getting into a situation where you're finding it difficult to justify, but really working with us to convert them in both in terms of technology benefits, but more importantly from a business benefit standpoint. I also look forward to meeting you personally at the Data and AI Forum we have planned in Mumbai later on in the year, where we could take some of these discussions further and help you through your journey. Thank you so much for listening in, and it's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Thank you.